everybody doing tonight? Thank you for coming to our Mayflower Town Hall meeting. Tonight we're going to be talking about what the City Council passed in terms of to put a vote to our city residents in our upcoming election in March about raising our city income tax, our sales tax by 1%. And that's what this town hall meeting is about, to try to distinguish between fact and opinion. We've got a lot of opinions floating around out there. What we're trying to do is to present this in a way to show our city residents what's in it for them, that type of thing, how it's going to help the city, how it's going to help our citizens as well. So tonight we're going to be talking in general about two areas, the fire department and the police department. And so what I'm going to do is open this up and give you just a brief overview. And then we're going to turn it over to Lieutenant Decker and then also to Chief Holland to be talking about their specific areas in terms of the fire department and the police department. And again, trying to help you understand how the benefit is going to be for the city as well as the residents in passing this 1%. When we say 1% increase in sales tax, really what we're talking about is 1 penny on the dollar. If you go and buy something, that way, if it passes, it would only increase that purchase amount by 1 penny for every dollar of that purchase. So keep that in mind. The 1 cent or 1% sales tax ballot proposal that's going to be coming up in March is on goods and services sold inside the city limits. We'll be talking more in detail about that in a moment. Also, an advantage of this passing of this tax, all of our fire dues will be removed from all of our city parcels after December 31st, 2025. I want to make sure that everybody understands when we say all parcels, that's not only residential, that is industrial as well as commercial. Whatever's on that parcel, those property taxes would go away. It would be absorbed through what we were hoping that we would pass the 1 cent sales increase. With the 1% sales increase, 50% of that money is dedicated to going to the fire department. 50% of that 1% sales will go to the fire department and the police department. Each will have 50%. It will be dedicated, again, I want to stress this, it will be dedicated to the fire department and the police department. Some of you may remember some time ago there was a 1.5% sales tax passed for streets and drainage. That money has only been used for streets and drainage. When something goes on ballot and is worded like this, it cannot be used for anything else. It will not go into general funds. It will only be dedicated to those two parties. The fire department 50%, fire department 50% for the police department. So that's something we need to keep in mind. And that is as it's written into the text of our 2024 ordinance that the City Council passed. I want to mention, again, our voting day is March the 5th. That will be the Arkansas 2024 primary ballot day that's coming up. It's hard to believe that today is February the 1st. Time is moving on. So a little over a month from now is when we'll be voting. And as it's always been, I just want to point out our voting poll for Mayflower is across the street here in the water department. That is number 2 Ashmore Drive. With that, as I said, we want to go into detail both from the fire department standpoint as well as the police department standpoint. So as of right now, let's go into our fire come and lead us in that discussion, please. And what we're going to do, we have some questions that someone has been written in from our website. We'll be covering those, but as we go, when Chief gets finished of their respective areas that they'll talk about, let's entertain questions then that's pertaining to that subject matter, so that we don't, we can get everything cleared up. We won't be mixing apples and oranges from the police department to the fire department. So with that, Chief.
Good evening. So, on our section on this, we'll start with one of our key points. We will be removing fire dues from all city parcels on and after December 31st of 2025. The revenue will change for us from a property tax that says once a year we will turn it to a city sales tax that says on every good that you buy. Currently, we do not receive any sales tax revenue from the city. Fire department operates solely out of the volunteer fire fund. We do not operate out of the general fund. And our fund can only be used for fire department operations. So our only revenue that the fire department has comes from your property tax when you pay. With us receiving this money, what we would like to do is hire some more firefighters. We'd like to be able to provide 24-hour coverage. We cannot currently do that. We're staffed 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. After that, we cannot guarantee a response, especially at overnight hours. We want to have quicker response times. We want to have somebody at the station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We want to have better coverage for all of our citizens within the city and in the county. This would also assist with reduced risk of firefighter safety. One thing we want to do as well, we want to be able to pay our volunteers better. Currently, we can only pay our volunteers, we pay them $6 for medical calls and $9 for fire calls, everything other than a medical call. We'd like to increase that. I think it would help attract more volunteers and increase participation. Without any of our volunteers, we wouldn't have doing what we do today. We also need to save future new fire stations. We need fire stations located in around Wally, the River Plantations, and Lawrence Landing. We need these new stations to assist with our city insurance rates. Currently, if you're within 5 miles of the fire station, you have a Class 5 ISO, which is your insurance rate that you pay for your homeowner insurance. If you're outside 5 miles, you get the highest insurance rate because you don't have proper fire coverage. That affects us here in the city limits because of our district size. Last year we did 1,218 calls for service. We covered 49.95 square miles of district, which is the city and the county. What we're wanting to do is, in exchange for this 1 cent sales tax, we will remove all fire dues from the city, parcels, residential, commercial, unapproved properties, and operate solely within the city limits for sales tax. We had some questions wrote in that we would like to answer. The first question is the discontinuance of the fire dues in the ordinance? If not, who will hold that statement accountable? It is not currently in our ordinance. The city attorney has worked on a resolution to place that will state that fire dues will be removed from all city parcels in lieu of the sales tax passing. Also, I will hold that accountable as fire chief, that if we say we're going to be able to remove fire dues this past, we're going to remove fire dues. The second question was, how much has the increase in fire dues generated starting 2023, and do you receive those funds all at once, or is it increments? The increase in fire dues has generated, I believe, roughly $247,000 in revenue. fire dues that will be removed if the city sales tax passes. Another question was why not business? I believe that was part of the previous question, but fire dues will be removed from all city parcels, so that's going to include every business, every home, everything on your piece of property. We were asking for this because we want to be able to provide better coverage for our residents, and the only way we can do that
not worth leaving you up in the middle of the night to come take care of your loved ones. And then somebody passed, but they could very easily have a fire department crew there with you just a few minutes and save their life. That's why I'm not voting no to kill this people. I voted yes because I want the citizens to make up their mind whether that's important.
And if we do receive this, this will allow us to begin upgrading our fleet. We still have an older fleet. I appreciate the city council for allowing us to purchase a 2004 engine. That helped us tremendously, but we still have an older fleet. 2004 is our newest pumper we have, it's 20 years old this year. We have trucks that are over 100, that are 96, 97 models, that eat up our operations and maintenance, our budget every year to the ground we repair. So far this year, we had a 2008 brush truck. We've already had to drop over $15,000 just for repairs, and it's just over $100,000. So fire departments don't make money, but we try to provide service for every citizen in the
Chief, would you restate that, how much money we spent one month?
just on that one truck, 15,000. And we also need to work on replacing a tanker truck we have, that's a 91 model that was deemed unsafe and had a lot of safety issues. Had mechanics come out the other day just to look at it, and they said it is not even worth repairing because you can see your hand through the front of the truck. It's rusted out and it doesn't serve us a purpose. But we're still able to provide our tankers, our water supply, through our partnerships we have with the ground department. So we just want to be able to provide a service. When you call, we will show up. Anybody else? Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Lieutenant Becker, now I will discuss the police side of the house.
So as Chief Oliver said, this sales tax will be split 50/50 between the fire department and the police department. Rough estimates right now, the 1% sales tax that come in 2023, brought in around $620,000, I believe. So if that continues, it would still be a little over $300,000 in the police department. Obviously, that could go up or down. That's not a set number. If they do pass the tax, then it gets voted on our main priorities with an increase in our budget. We would like to add another patrol officer position to our patrol division. This would level out our units on the road as far as night shift and day shift, and allow us to get our guys off the night shifts more than once or twice every 12 months. This will let them rotate, and those rotate our officers every 2 or 3 months off night shifts and give them on days off night for them and their families. We would also like to add a school resource officer to our line. That would also be depending on our school system, what they usually pay for out that position. So that has to be a conversation also that we have with them. But if this passes, we're going to put that get a position added for our SRO. That would dedicate also to our elementary school and middle school and high school. As far as our yearly budget and what we spend,
council was led to believe. Yes, okay. But I'm not trying to criticize anybody, I'm just trying to set the, thank you for clarifying that. Yes, yes, okay. He's okay.
I'm just trying to remember numbers off the top of my head. The police budget is somewhere around $1 million. For this year. Yes. Last year. Last year, that's right around $1 million. Right around $1 million. That $200,000 or $300,000 to go to the general fund does essentially, along with other money from the general fund, fund the police department.
Well, but
And with money, but it's not, I get
it wasn't dedicated.
Exactly.
That was the wording that we were told, and I was just trying to
No,
clear.
sure, but I'm saying that money,
Yes.
it's going into this pot that pays that right now.
But what I was just trying to clarify is that people have said, well, in 2019, that what was passed was supposed to go to the fire department, police department. It wasn't worded that way, but what we're asking for now, it is dedicated to 50% goes to the police department, 50% goes to the fire department. That's on the ballot. Read the ballot. It's worded. We wanted to make sure that there was no misunderstanding of how this was going to happen. Yes, I'm not trying to.
No,
I was just trying to
I'm
clarify.
just hearing something like, that didn't go to police, but in a sense it is.
Well, it is, but it wasn't dedicated.
Right.
So, again, we just wanted to clarify that. That was the only thing. And then also, somebody was asking about the money, the 1% that was dedicated for the streets and drainage. That was in January of 2008. That is 16 years ago. And it was ordinance 2008-01. Voters approved the 1% sales tax, and it was dedicated for street and drainage improvement. And let me just add to this, what this means when it's dedicated. Well, I've been in office for 13 months now, as of today. And when I came in, I think it's mostly like everybody, when you have a budget and you're wanting to say, pay for a car, but something else, well, you've got the money and you need to move from maybe what you're going to pay on the car and move it over to something else. It doesn't work like that in our world. When it is in the fire department silo, so to speak, and it works in their back pocket, in the police, in the water, the sewer, the street, and drainage, you cannot legally take any money out of one area and move it to the other. I had no idea that that was the law, because that's what I was trying to do when I first came in. I said, well, we're okay over in this area. Maybe we take some of that money this month and put it on, you just heard, we're constantly having expenses. $15,000 for a fire truck the other day we had to pay. So these are unexpected. But yet you try to figure out where you can, we have competing dollars. So again, I'm just saying, just because we have a little bit in this area and we can say, well, we can move it over here. I had to learn the hard way. You can't do that. And so that's what we're talking about. That's the significance of saying this money is going to only be dedicated to the 50% to the fire department, 50% to the police department. And I just wanted to make that clear. But anyway, that's all I have. The intent was to try to distinguish between fact and opinion. We have got a fantastic team here with both the police department, fire department, our water sewer, our street drainage, all of our staff. We are lucky, we're blessed to have the people that we have here. And we're trying to spend the money the best we can. Again, when Chief Tolliver said, hey, we got this bill, they need $15,000 to pay for this. What do? It's almost like you're throwing But like I said, if this passes, then we have an opportunity to pay the bill, so to speak, where we have the room that we can take some of this money and put it over on the side, put it in escrow. We're, you've seen the interest rates. Even though we're paying a lot on interest, we would be getting a significant amount, back on interest if we had any money that we would put it on that side. All I'm trying to say is, we feel that this would be a good thing for the city, but it's the voters that are going to have to make the decision. The city council, they don't do that. As the mayor, I can't do that. But what we all did, we decided, yes, at this time, we think it's a good idea, and we wanted to present it to the citizens. Let them make the decision, because ultimately, they're the ones that's going to either prosper or be a detriment to it. So again, we hope that everybody will look at it, gather the facts, and vote. That's what we can do. I've been on my soapbox long enough. Well, are there any other questions? Comments? Yes. Chief, is that 65?
So our residential parcels, city and county are priced the same. You pay 65 residential, 135 commercial. We have a whole little sheet that kind of plays different. You have more than one home on a parcel. You go the apartments have a set fee, duplexes, everything's a set fee, but you have one home on your parcel for $65. You have commercial structures, $135. What we want to do is remove that.
JB. Exactly, and the last numbers that I've got, I meant to mention this earlier, the last numbers that I've got, over a 24-hour period as far as vehicles that go up and down 365, we got a little over 10,000 vehicles that go up 365 over a 24-hour period. The number of vehicles that pass by Mayflower over a 24-hour period is roughly 90,000. 90,000 for a 24-hour period, and it's continuing to increase. And so, again, with our overpass, that's one of the things that we market Mayflower, is the ease of living here. We're right on the interstate. It's really your advantage. You can whip off really easily, get what you want, and get back off. We hope you come here and live. But as far as travelers and this type of thing, yes, it's convenient. And you're exactly right. It's sharing those monies with the travelers and the people that are outside the city and outside our area that's coming through and purchasing whether it be food, fuel, building materials, whatever. So it would apply to everything in terms of the sales tax, yes. We see based on what is happening, where our current state is, and where we're going to be within another 2 months, when some things are going to be announced, you're going to be happy. Because we're looking at some good things coming up really quick. So Mayflower has a lot to offer. I was in a meeting today with a real estate agent. He's got like three interested developers that is looking at 35 plus acres here in Mayflower. They're wanting to build large lot subdivision. So more roofs, more people coming in. Again, it all goes back to we would be getting, even though it's a little bit, that little bit associated with Conway. I think theirs is 1.25. Yeah, something of that nature. They've got, well, not only that, there are several other factors how they get taxes that is not included in the sales tax. You're talking about roughly 60,000 people and growing. I was in a meeting with a representative of Conway over the weekend, and he was talking about last year that in 2023 they got over $300 million in grants in terms of what they're building. That's fantastic. That they were really doing well, and they were talking about they're going to have to start looking at different areas, to expand a little bit because of what's so much is going on. They were really blooming, but the other cities around us is comparable to what we've got. Barbara, did you have those numbers? You and I were talking about it. Would you mind sharing that?
The city of Greenbrier is at 2.5%, there's 9.5 total, and the city is 2.5. Bologna is 2.75.
2.75 currently, where ours currently is 2.5%. When you say, well, it's what is it here now? 9%, 9.5%, 10%? Okay.
7%.
That's what I was going to say. We've got the wrong category. We need to be state. That's where the money's going. So we get a small sliver of that. Same way, that's why we're trying to get away from the property tax. People think that you get a lot of money from property tax. It's a very small amount.
I want to bring up something to address that I think is going to concern people, that even with the sunsetting fire parcels within the city limits,
Yes, sir.
that may seem unfair to people that live outside of the city limits, that shop and pay for it, and spend and pay for it, and don't continue to pay their fire parcels, and things like that. Chief Oliver, you know way more about this than I do, and you might as well, in the insurance now. But if the city, if it's got capacity, we could build up our fire infrastructure and build those secondary, third, fourth fire stations in proximity to people's homes. Eventually, we're going to see their insurance rates drop because of those ISO rates, and then that tax amount that they're spending at the point of sale, I'm not saying it's complete wash, depending on how much money you save. So you're going to save money on insurance on the back end, if you extend it to store it, plus having to report our fire.
We had talked about that briefly, and I don't want to take anything away from Chief or not, but let me just mention this. We had talked about the concern that we had. Okay, we're taking, even though we have, and let me back up to explain something. On our water and our fire, we have your city limits that we all understand. But we serve water outside our city limits, and that's called the water district. Okay, so there's arms that go outside our city. Along with that water, it basically overlaps, as I understand it. Chief, you can correct me on this, but we basically overlap that water district with the fire district as well. We talked about that, in our meetings. But right now, we can't do anything about that. We were hoping that at some point in the future, we would be able to lessen that burden. Maybe we don't increase the outside. Maybe we start diminishing what people are paying outside based on our growth and this type of thing. So yeah, we've talked about that, but we're not there right
But
yet.
again, not talking about changing the due,
No.
just the insurance costs that would
Right.
eventually go down. Would
Because of that.
offset some of that cost of the
Yes.
suspects into the sewer.
Yes. Chief or Mark, would y'all like to comment on that?
You have a town plan, every fire department has a town plan for it. There's a fire rate, so that
side, Chief Hunter with his team, we have got, I think, you know, I'm proud to have everybody that we have. And we're constantly I don't have to tell you, Zach, thanks for bringing it up, but we're trying to not only look out for the city, but those extension arms also that I feel that, and everybody on the team feels like we're responsible for too. It's not one of those things that we get to the point where, oh, they're not in the city, so we're just going to put it to them. That's not the conversation that we have. But right now, it's a stepping stone. We felt like that we tried to get this 1 cent passed inside the city limits. That's where most of our retail stores are. And then we see how this works. We've already got evidence where it's already worked in the streets and drainage part. So that's why we were trying to use that in our model to look at the police and fire department.
I will say, so it's your question too, about how we compare. I did look, city by city, I looked up our revenue, gov. And if this passes, it still will not put a lot in the top 30 in the entire state for, total tax, not just city tax, but the total tax that somebody will pay on something. You don't qualify
here's the deal. If you
And
look,
again, I'm not being negative.
no, you're exactly right. I just caution you, Barbara and I had this conversation. If you start looking at Conway and you see a 1.5%, 1.25% sales tax, that's not all of it. There are other layers of where they're getting taxes and revenues into the city. So you can't, it's not comparing apples to apples with us. So again, yes, it's going to, if you're just looking at it from a face, just a quick look, okay, we're going to be 1% higher. But again, that's 1 cent on a dollar. And so you're going to see other cities doing this even more. So we're, right now,
I understand
yeah.
that, with all due respect, consumer, again, that was trying to give the number one product of their sales tax. Consumers looking at that, that makes several $100 purchase. That shows that. And I just didn't want that to create that kind of image.
Right.
Sales tax.
Right.
But again, I'm not being negative.
No, I understand.
And everybody was talking about everything's going up, and I tell my customers, my paycheck is not going up.
No. And that's just it. And what we're trying to do is look at it, what is the least impact to, when it's economy of scale. When you start talking about what you're wanting to do, in terms of, do we put that burden only on the people that live inside the city limits? Or do we look at it and say, okay, if we were to do that, or approve this, then that distributes that whole responsibility. And like I said, we've already seen that, what can come about with our streets and drainage. And we're glad that we've got that. So, just again, we wouldn't have been able to buy those this past, a few weeks ago when we had the snow and turned into ice and this type of thing. We have 2 trucks that is outfitted with push plates, 8-foot push plates. We have the 2 salt dogs that we mix salt and sand with. They were out running. I know I was out there with them. Those plows are about just under $10,000 a piece. Just the plows. They're hydraulic, and we did a good job in keeping our roads clear. Early on, we've gotten a lot of positive reviews on that, but we were able to do it because we had the equipment that we needed. And that's what we're talking about. We've got to have money to buy the equipment for operations, but we don't have the money that we can put anything in escrow to try to build on that so that we will have money going forward if something comes up. And it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when something happens. But you're exactly right, and that's a concern, but we're just going to have to take that risk. I think the benefits far outweigh just that. No, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Tom, and what you've done for the city. We really do.
I'm not that great at tax, because I'm so seasoned, afraid of all, and they look like the lumber one and things like that, one of those two comes outside of me. I just didn't want that flavor to get good by.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we thank you for
But
that.
then I hope tax.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, ma'am.
Seems like the best chance of getting the cash would be to really promote that increase of your fire tax. Now, first I heard about that was today when I read something on Facebook so that really needs to be put, general speaking, promote their sales tax, things going higher and higher. I mean, it costs twice as much to
we don't have a communication system. I'm advocating that we start a radio station here just to get word out. But I'm being facetious, but still, that's something that I think we need to look at. But the point is, how do we communicate anything here? We try to do it by word of mouth. We try to put it, we've got 2 social sites, Mayflower Neighborhood, Mayflower Community. And then we have the city website where James Snyder is our communications coordinator. I hired him last year to come in and redo all of our website in terms of our city website. We're still in the growing stages of that. We're trying to come in where, and everything that we do on social networking or sites, we try to give them just a little bit of information and point them to the one place that we think is going to have the accurate information. That's what we're hoping for. But let's face it, there's not everybody that wants to go to a website to get any information out. So I want, as well as the whole team, our council members and everybody here, we've talked about this so many times. So if you've got any recommendations as to how we can better communicate, we're all for it because we're so limited in terms of our communication. Our little sign up here, we can get 3 words on it that you can see.
Well, Mayor, you rarely in the whole point tonight is allowed.
Exactly.
Come here and have community input.
Exactly.
It's mostly city leaders and employees.
That's right.
Just a handful of citizens even.
Yeah.
Security show up, but they could show up.
That's right. That's right. And again,
Are you gonna do a mailer to go to
we're talking about that.
you know, early voting starts in the morning.
Yes.
So, Commissioner, I actually looked into this as part of our city attorney, and we would have to have a political action to be set up through the night.
How long this be?
The city cannot spend any city funds to promote the passing of this tax. In fact, city employees and council members and the mayor, I can't stand here and tell someone to vote for or against this tax. We can only show facts. We can't spend any city funds to promote anything more than just information about the tax.
And that's what we were trying to do tonight. That's what we were trying to do as far as our little flyer that we handed out. That's what we're wanting to do, is to get that in the hands of others. We don't have a pact for Mayflower. Unless somebody steps up and writes a check out of their own checking account to pay for that, even if it's, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is what Dustin told me.
As a citizen, I can do it.
That's right. But we cannot use any funds of the city to do that, to promote that at all. So again, I'm hoping to have one more that we can, hopefully, people will show up and to listen. But we're going to try to get that information out. One of the things, if we have the email address through the water department, we could send that, I believe, from an informational standpoint. See, on that sheet, we don't ask you, we're not saying, this is what you should do, vote for that. We're trying to show you the facts that if this passed, this is the advantage. This is the pros of that. So that's what we're trying to do. And if that's the case, if we had your email address, from the water department, this type of thing, we don't have all of that. We have some, and we'll try to put that out. But what we're trying to do tonight is to hopefully there'll be enough interest to have our people in the city to come and listen and form their own decision. And if they chose to, everybody has a circle of influence. That you go back and you talk to your circle of influence and try to convince them to show them, the facts and help them understand. If that's the case, then maybe they continue to talk. And that's what we've got to have. And that's why the wording on the ballot, we changed that several times. We wanted to make sure that it said what we were trying to do. so that there would be no misunderstanding. And that's why we were talking about tonight, we wanted to clarify, distinguish between fact and opinion of what some other people had said earlier that was passed, and like it would, we were piggybacking on what they were doing, and we weren't. But you're exactly right. We're operating on a short timeline. Yes.
I love this. I have mine yet. It was about $6 on the call, and I know it's fire off.
It is.
I would add a few fire use $69 or more to do. I really don't want to.
Well, did you also understand that the fire chief was talking about that this past year, we voted to increase. That was the first time that it went from $30 or $35 to $65. It increased $30 in 20 years. What's wrong with that picture? No. So again, we have not ran our city as a business. Looking at this and communicating with the people that we're not even taking them enough money in terms of what it's costing us. So, but there again, we're so far behind the 8 ball, you have to go with incremental increases. Nobody can, we talk about how expensive everything is. So again, what we're trying to do is help you understand that we're talking about 1 cent on the dollar. But thank you. Those are excellent points. Okay. Anybody else? If not, thank you all so much. Again, what we're trying to do is distinguish between facts and opinion. If you will, Barbara, we've got plenty of sheets, and we'll have that over at the water department. If anybody comes in and wants that information, we can email it to you or whatever. It's just, it gives the facts of this. But thank you all so much. We appreciate it. And be safe. See y'all later.